We'll give everyone the usual bit of time to show up. Hello, am I coming through okay? All right. Okay, so the usual five passed, so I suppose we'll go ahead and get started. Let's see here. In terms of any news, updates, etc., in Viewerland at least, we shipped 2025-06 last week. The big headlining feature on that is inventory favorites. So, tell your friends, start using inventory favorites there. Hopefully that'll start trickling into TPVs here pretty soon, including Firestorm. But we'll see. We'll see what the lead times end up looking like on that. We are now working on 2025-07. There aren't really many content creation focused features for that. but I can talk about we're trying to get proper Discord support, shipping with that. More information on that here pretty soon. We're trying to be privacy conscious with how we produce and ship that. So hopefully we'll have more details for you guys here very soon on that. Apple Silicon support is currently looking like it's on the table for that as well. We're hoping to get that merged into the develop branch here in the very near future. So people who use Apple Silicon Macs, you should have a pretty pretty good performance boost there. Not to mention just generally things should be better if you're using an Apple Silicon Mac versus an Intel Mac. And you know, of course, using the Intel Mac builds on Apple Silicon should obviously not be a thing that you do anymore. So that'll be great. Coming with that, we should have a CEF update as well. For those who don't know what CEF is, that's what powers our web browser inside of the viewer. That should hopefully have some performance improvements, security improvements, the usual things that come with just updating your web browser. We think we found a solution to being able to be more up to date with that without having to completely re-engineer how we actually use CEF. This is actually pretty important for people who use media on a prim in HUDs and things of that nature. So that should be pretty great for people. Not a whole lot that's specifically content creator focused on deck for 2507, but some good news as far as better paving the way for more content creator focused features, more shiny features and things like that. Is we are starting to get our new performance metrics piping in. So what that means is we're able to make better decisions as far as what features we ship that might impact performance somehow. So for example, the new screen space reflection stuff that's been kind of sitting in a side branch for a while. The reason why we haven't shipped that yet is because we needed better performance metrics to be able to track how does this impact the average resident's uh, basically what their frame quality looks like. Is their frame rate jittering a whole lot? Is it actually pretty stable? Things like that. And this also applies to things like our upcoming multi-threading work as well, so we can better understand what performance impact we're making at a much finer grain detail compared to just looking at a frame rate chart, pretty much. So that's what we're trying to get on deck for 2507. Plans may still change. We haven't finalized things just yet on that. So yeah, hopefully I have some good news for you guys here in the near future. With that, I guess we'll open the floor to any questions, discussion, etc.
I guess I'll be the first one to pop a question. Regarding media on a prim, you said it's receiving some updates, some performance updates. Does this improve when, for example, there's a lot of media on a prim available in a region? I know that certain arcades, for example, with their arcade machines, you end up with like 50 different media on a prim, and it can get quite performance heavy. Would it assist in cases like this, for example?
So it might help you a little bit there. We're not really making any specific commitments to like being able to have more mope enabled objects in your vicinity, basically. But definitely like give it a spin and check it out once we have those builds posted up. We're hoping to get some alpha builds posted up on GitHub here in the very near future. So I'd be interested to actually hear some feedback around that once we have those live.
Okay, interesting. Thank you. Uh, by chance, does it alter the way that media on a prem is currently handled? I know that currently you have to select media on a prem in order to utilize what's inside it. Does it change the utilization of that? Like you can just hover over it, for example, or is it going to be by the same means that you still have to select it and whatnot?
Um, I'm sorry, can you repeat the question?
Yes, currently, when utilizing media on a prim, you have to click within the window before you actually have access to the content within it. Is it going to change that one might just be able to hover the cursor directly over the window and access it more directly, or will one still have to click it in order to utilize it?
Funny enough, Darl over there actually contributed a feature along with Wolfgang to modify that behavior based upon the user's preference. Darl, can you maybe go into some details as far as that?
Okay, that's very interesting to see that it is implemented. It just needs to be implemented in the viewers as well. Okay, that's great news. Thank you.
I will view that canny here in just a moment, Nix. Let's see here. Do we have a writer here today? We do not. As far as Slua deployment news, right now it's still TBD as far as when we'll ship Slua to general availability, but we should be getting a Slua viewer update here in the reasonably near future. The hope is that that will be using 2025-07 as a baseline. Additionally, I know that Ryder is currently working on adding external editor support to the viewer for Slua as well. I believe he's currently looking for Visual Studio Code integration right now.
I believe I've heard rumors at least that Slua is expected before 2026, if possible.
I mean, I won't comment on any specific release timelines.
Right, right.
Hi, can you click on the CD name question, please? Yes, yes,
3D land parcels.
yes.
3D land parcels. I know it's one of those things that it always seems to come up. That's probably more of a writer question.
Please, please.
not sure that we're going to be able to do that one anytime soon, I'm afraid. Ryder would be able to give better specifics, but he's not here today.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it possible? Is it possible?
As to how possible it is, I'm not
Yeah.
100% sure. I don't really work on the server side so much.
So that would be a better question for Ryder when he's around.
Yes, it would be.
Right.
Or at the server user group.
Yeah.
Okay. That is.
Nix, I want to go back to the canny that you had posted just to make sure I understand what you're asking for here. Are you basically asking to have, like, I suppose, the ability to extract settings from a keyframe in a day and night cycle? Is that what you're asking for? Okay. Yeah, I do recall this one coming up at one point in feature triage. I can probably, it shouldn't really be difficult to go through and extract those settings with how the viewer works. I'll see if we have that one imported somewhere on GitHub. We can, maybe get it prioritized for release somewhere. It is? Okay, that's even better. Ah, that's why I missed it. It's from last year. Okay. I will see about getting this one prioritized. Probably won't happen for 2025-08, where we're already starting to kind of think about what we want to do for the next release, for the release after this current one, but we don't really have anything firm there yet. But I can see if we can maybe get that one on a release vehicle for like 2509 or Alright, should be back. Just had to restart voice on the server, that's all. Okay. So yeah, like I was saying, so probably won't make it for 2025-08. more likely 2509 or whatever the first release of 2506 is. Assuming we can get it prioritized, that is. We still have a lot of things we need to work through here. So, you know, stay tuned and all that. Oh, actually, I did just think of one thing that has seen some renewed discussion recently. The old alpha gamma parameters that was being worked on last year. We think we have an idea of how we want to approach that now. What we're looking at doing is just taking the work we'd already done on that and then just removing the old no mod permission hack from that. So that should make it a lot easier to ship than it was before. We kept on getting kind of caught up on the permission hack that we added in there. Instead, we're just going to default all old content to, I think it was gamma space blending. So it should bring back some of the old functionality, the old alpha blending functionality. And anyone who's released any content between now and I guess whenever Firestorm shipped their version of PBR, people should be able to update from there. So if they need like the old linear or the newer linear style blending. Complicated how?
Oh, there's a known issue, and perhaps Sarah may elaborate. Uh, there is currently no way to create a GLTF override such that it overrides only the alpha and not also the color in addition.
Oh, okay.
I believe the current method of changing the alpha is basically to reapply the whole texture with new settings, the whole material, so to say. Whereas with the old pling bong system, you can just have with a single command, you can basically change the alpha, I believe, or through the color command.
Yeah, that's really more of a writer question.
There is a new function. It doesn't solve the alpha color confabulation, but there is a new function. I forget what it's called, but instead of doing the prim params thing where you're saying the color and you have to have an empty string here and an empty string there, instead you can say, I only want to specifically modify these PBR properties, these PBR overrides, and it only accepts a subset, but it is useful for some use cases. Yes, thank you, Christy. That's the function, I believe.
So it is something being looked into, and a command is up for consideration to do it.
I would say if there's a canny ticket, please vote it because it helps prioritize. Unfortunately, it's not trivial because it would require an update to the network protocol. So if you can if you can say, yes, I want this real bad, it'll definitely help. It will be heard.
Then there was also a question by Sia Ravencross regarding whatever happened with Second Life Combat System 2.0. I'm kind of curious about that too. What's the news on the combat system?
Another writer question, I'm afraid.
Oh, right on.
We generally tend to prefer questions more centered around content creation. We don't handle support or things like that, just so you know. Groups, it depends on what the question is.
I believe the maximum group count was recently increased, wasn't that?
Officer, manager, CSR, etc. It's something like that. And you can actually run out of roles. So it's a good query.
I had a question regarding land impact. I'm not sure if this is the right place, but so I recently purchased a sim, and I'm running out of prims, and most of my prims are due to physics. I have a lot of physics on the sim because the terrain is quite bumpy, and it's all made of mesh. I was wondering if there's any, because I've heard recently there was like an update in regards to physics being reduced. No, not physics. Sorry, land impact being reduced. So if there was anything like that kind of update coming out soon before I pay for an update for more prims on my sim.
Uh, Changing land impact is something that we talk on again, off again about. The biggest worry there is that we're going to inadvertently break things anytime we touch that. It's also another one of those writer questions, unfortunately, since that's all taken care of server side. As far as asking writer questions, he's also available at the server user group. Someone posted the calendar here somewhere. So you should have multiple opportunities to ask him questions. There it is. Okay. Yeah, I would take the land impact discussion to the server user group as well. They generally have a better idea of just that entire group has a much better idea of what the implications of like changing what physics land impact is, for example. Oh, that sounds like an interesting bug, Christy. Can you post up a bug report for it, or is there already one somewhere that I can look at? It shouldn't be particularly different. If there isn't a bug report already posted up somewhere, please feel free to post one.
Gaines, I have a question as to whether it's probable before I put a canny in. I was thinking it often comes up that we ask for the ability to appear offline when in world because we may be busy, etc. Or my own questions about being able to sort inventory and such without actually having the load of the world. What if we had like a lobby? So you like log in two different stages where you're actually in what would be considered your own private space where you can deal with IMs and you can deal with your inventory, but you actually don't load the world. You're not teleporting around. So it's just like your own private instance and it lets people sort of dash in, read a note card, maybe do a customer service request, maybe fix a marketplace drop issue, and then
Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like something that the mobile team is actually already working on. I'm interested in something like that. If we bring that into the desktop viewer, obviously
Yeah.
that would be similar. That would have a similar consequence for the P0 viewer as well. And I'm sorry, Brad. Go
No,
ahead.
no problem. Yeah, I mean, I can't speak specifically to timelines, but chat in particular is chat from the lobby is definitely on our roadmap for the mobile viewer, and doing it in a way that that those functions could also be added to desktop viewers down the road as well.
that would be game changing for content creators and staff, etc.
Yeah,
would
it's
be
definitely
amazing.
so I know the mobile side of it is definitely on the roadmap for coming work, and the back end work to support that on the server side. But I don't think there's anything specifically scheduled for other viewers currently. But it's definitely we know it's the whole point of doing it on on mobile is to have a coherent shared conversation experience that seamlessly works together between mobile and desktop viewers. So that's the UX experience that we're going for, and we gotta get there. So there's a lot to figure out about what the path is to actually get that, but that's the high level goal.
That's awesome to hear. It'd be nice if desktop got something first, though. There's
I
more
mean,
of us, and we're shackled. We need perks.
I will have to talk to people about scheduling.
We can be your test bunnies.
Always happy to go through and get something. I'm sorry. Always happy to get something that improves Residence Live shipped in the desktop viewer sooner than later. So
Yeah, I mean, it definitely it definitely is needed. So I just know we've done the planning for the mobile side of it first, because that's where the experience is worst right now, I think, for how conversations, like there's a chunk of users that really can't use mobile right now, or they tell us that they're reluctant to use mobile right now because of the way conversations get divided between devices when you do that. So so that's why it's come up as a priority for the mobile work first, is that it's a blocker for people. But obviously, like, it needs to be solved for Second Life as a whole.
Could you move the log chat information from the device into stored on the server in? No, that wouldn't work, would it? It'd be defeating the purpose. But that's why they can't. What you just said about them not using the mobile because of conversations, it's because of the chat log gets saved to the installation of the viewer, right?
That is exactly the problem. We need to provide a solution for. And any, I mean, so yeah, the people who want their conversations to be synchronized across devices, we will provide a way for them to opt into that, and provide appropriate privacy controls for that chat history data. That's part of why it's it requires a lot of back end work to add those kind of features. So that's all being designed now. How we build those things on the back end to support those new uses of synchronizing these conversation histories. But yeah, I don't. I maybe should have been more careful when I say I'm pretty sure. Well, yeah, I think we need to do real design about how those preferences work. Um, I think nobody's existing conversation history will be uploaded to this history syncing service without them opting into it. I think that's pretty clearly going to have to be an intentional process. I'm pretty
Like
sure.
storage on the website kind of thing, where we opt in to say we'd like our chat logs to be saved under our dashboard.
Yeah, I mean, I think it all needs to be designed like how we let people manage their preferences for what these history settings are, and we're not very far along on that right now.
That would be wonderful, because I think I've done 5 computers in the time I've been in SL, and yeah, losing your years of chat logs and customer service correspondence is a huge blow if you haven't saved it. Now I save it like separate, but yeah, it would be great if it was just connected to your account.
That is the intention to modernize this so it works like other communications apps like that. There is some level of encryption being designed to answer Zia's question there. I don't know that we're ready to talk about any of those details, but yes, that is definitely something we are aware of. Is a request.
When you're at that one, can you add the emails I've been asking for like 2 decades now, that we all have? Sassy Scarborough at secondlife.com, Zia Ravencross at secondlife.com, Luke Rowley at secondlife.com.
Well, we can't do it at secondlife.com.
You know what I mean? Like, give
yeah.
us our at
Like,
secondliferesident.com, whatever you need it to be. But could we, like, we've asked for that kind of thing forever. It would be so good, because then a lot of offline stuff could just go directly to emails that are an actual Second Life email.
That's an interesting question. Do we have a canny for that?
I don't know. I'll have a look. I'll do one before the end of the meeting so that we can link to it. It would be good too, because it would mean that your own systems, like the emails that you send out, could just go to everybody's personal resident email, rather than you having to send to Gmail and Yahoo and etc. etc.
Yeah, email is got a lot of details that are messy as far as actually making sure messages get through and not get spam filtered.
I was going to say you could probably partner up with another thing like Proton Mail or whoever. I'm sure if it's worth their while, they could handle your mail for you. Testing 1, 2.
Yes, we can hear you. I mean, I did just have a thing of cup noodles during this meeting, so and fault anyone for snacking during it.
I've got some cup porridge downstairs. I have to make some.
There's the link for the canny request. I'm gonna put it in YouTube too.
Yeah, I believe I did respond to it. Again, it's more of a server question, but I mean, zipping things directly inside of your inventory is probably not, a thing that would be trivial.
Can you be able to satisfy on our island?
Can you stream Spotify on your island? Like music? Don't you guys already listen to music? Yeah, it's like I've seen you at like the dance parties where they play music. How do they play music?
No, I don't think that you can. That's really more of a Spotify problem.
I believe in order to stream on your region, it would have to be a direct media link, so directly to an MP3 or M4C or whatever file formats there are, like a direct media link, which Spotify frankly does not provide.
Yeah. How is Shield TF for Rig Mesh going? Last I checked, the only bug I really saw that was significant was it seemed like quadruped rigs didn't work. I mean, it is shipping, so like you should be able to have most rigged mesh work in the viewer as it stands today, as of 2505. No, it's shipped. It's been shipped.
That you can get a game system on you can get a game system on Spotify to like it in. Hold on, hold on. you can start a jam session on
Ooh.
Spotify.
Okay, yeah, I get you. That would really come down to if Spotify allows that sort of thing. I
It does. It does. It does.
right, right. I know it does have the jam session feature.
Yeah. So, what can we not take that in and put it into the song?
So what we would need from Spotify is a stream, and if it can provide you with
Yes,
a stream,
it does. It
okay.
does. But it doesn't work in the stream.
Right. It might be something that we would need to specifically add support for, which, yeah, that would be it. Spotify requires all participants in a jam session use a Spotify client. That might be more than what we can support right now. I mean, in theory, if it works in media on a prim, that could be an approach. You know, I've never actually tried that. Maybe I should do that. I'll try that in my home region, actually.
I believe on Spotify, once you load the Spotify website, you also manually have to press the play button in order to join, for example, a jam session. So that hinders a bit if you're looking for an automated solution that just automatically starts playing the jam session on a region, as they would have to manually opt in on through the Mo app.
Yeah, Zia, I can't really comment on our payment processing practices or policies. That might be a better question for the web user group, maybe the support user group or Linden support user group. I would try either of those. So that's a complicated question from Dirk Strider from YouTube. Was there ever official LL input on if the GLTF update is setting groundwork for custom skeletons, or is it just because .dae died? So it's a bit of both in a sort of roundabout way. So we kind of had to go through and support GLTF just because DAE is dying, and whenever the sole format that you support is being removed from other applications, that puts you in a bad spot. So we had to go through and get that moving sooner than later. The good thing about how we did it, though, is it does enable us to have a path towards custom skeletons in the future at a file support level. So there are some additional hurdles there. We would need to go through and update the internal file formats to be able to support that kind of thing. But it's not impossible. We just have to do so very carefully. It's another one of those things that we need to figure out where to slot it in onto the priority stack. So it's not a hard no right now. It is we need to prioritize it. Please go to Canny, voice your support for it. Those sorts of things do get looked at, listened to, and prioritized based upon how many people vote for those sorts of things. Anyways, we got 1 minute left. We're a ways away for Vulkan support. There's a lot that needs to be done in order to make that not an extremely painful process. We've identified a good chunk of the work for that. It's gonna take us a good bit, and there's gonna have to be like a lot of cleanup around how we even use OpenGL to really support Vulkan. Yeah, I can't really talk about what's going on with premium memberships. That's not really my department. And I can't really talk about payouts or what have you. That's also not my department. Payouts, I would take it to either Linden support or the web team. As to premium memberships, I'd probably take it to either of those as well. Okay, thank you everyone for coming by. We're about a minute past time. Don't technically have a bear, unfortunately. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in another 2 weeks. Thank you.